Hey everyone, thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin. We're going to be looking at the move that we're currently in from a macro level perspective. So if you guys like the content, please subscribe to the channel and check out the Telegram channel in the description below. So one of the questions I often get with regards to my channel are people asking me to look at more fundamental analysis or news sources and so on and so forth. And I do look at that stuff sometimes. But admittedly, it is something that I don't look at quite as much. So I wanted to alert you guys to one of the channels that I've been following for a couple years now. So basically since the beginning of 2018, there's a channel called Altcoin Daily. It's run by two brothers, Aaron and Austin, and I think they do a really good job of basically bringing the news to you guys every single day. They also do some level of TA themselves or data science, whatever you want to call it, but they do provide a decent level of news from a more fundamental perspective, which is what a lot of people want. So for those who are interested in getting a news source that can keep you up to date on all things crypto, I would suggest checking out this channel. They actually just made a video, and in the video they talk about the lengthening cycle theory and talk about me in the video. So I'll leave the link to this video in the description below. I would appreciate it if you guys could return the favor and go check out Austin and Aaron's channel, subscribe to their channel, and leave a note in the comments telling them that Ben from Into the Cryptoverse sent you. So I'd appreciate that. Go and check out their videos. They have a lot of great videos. If you just look here at their channel, you can see they're basically publishing at least a video each day. And so they have a lot of good stuff. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and jump into what I typically like to focus on, and it's just more or less my own custom charts, as well as TradingView stuff. So let's go ahead and jump in. So one of the things I wanted to talk about in this video is the fact that we're approaching the 20-week moving average because of the shout out I got yesterday from Altcoin Daily. We have a lot of new subscribers, so if you're not familiar with this, basically we talk about the 20-week moving average on the channel a lot as being indicative of when the bull run starts, because we hold it as support during that timeline, or during that time frame. We hold the 20-week moving average as support. And when we break the 20-week, we are in the bear market. And you can see that during the accumulation phase of the last cycle, we pivoted around this 20-week moving average for several months before finally holding it as support. We only failed to hold it as support one time once we got above it and tested it. You can see we held it. We did not hold it as support, and we dropped to the 200-week moving average. In the current cycle, once we broke through, we did not hold it as support. We fell to the 100-week moving average, and then we got above it again. The second time we broke below it, we fell to the 200-week moving average, which is pretty similar to the last cycle, except that it didn't have the falling to the 100-week moving average. In fact, the 100-week moving average was way up here. So there is a little bit of symmetry there in the sense that breaking the 20-week moving average and then falling to the 200-week. And you can see that we just did the same thing now, which I think is fairly incredible how history does tend to repeat itself. And furthermore, what another similarity between this cycle and the last cycle is that we had previously gotten to the 200-week moving average. So we came down to the 200-week. At some point, we went above the 20-week. At some point, we fell below the 20-week back to the 200-week. So if you just look at it in the grand scheme of things, a similar pattern here. We broke up, we came down to the 200-week, we broke above the 20-week, eventually we came below the 20-week and straight back to the 200-week, and we're starting our move upward. And if you look in the last cycle, once we hit this second move upward, it was what ultimately led us into getting above the 20-week moving average and holding it as support for the next couple years. Now, clearly same history does not have to repeat itself. We won't necessarily see ourselves get above the 20-week moving average, but it is something that I think you need to be aware of, because I'm pretty convinced that we're going to see a fairly drastic move in Bitcoin fairly soon. We're either going to get rejected by the 20-week and start heading back down, back to $7,100 to test that. If we break through that, we'll likely head down to $5,700, which is the 200-week moving average. that's option one. Option two is likely if we can break above the 20-week like we did in the last market cycle, then maybe we can start getting into gear and gearing up for the bull run that we presume is going to occur over the next several years. Obviously, there's a lot of debate between whether it's lengthening cycles, like I tend to think, or whether it's a 4-year cycle, like some other people tend to think. Ultimately, I think it's good that you're prepared for whatever happens. So you take the data for what it says, and if you think it's a 4-year cycle, that's fine. Just be prepared if it isn't. And if you take my approach, if you think that my theory is correct in terms of lengthening cycles, while I think it's correct, I also admit that I could be wrong, and you need to be prepared for any other event. So that's why we perform analysis on this channel basically every day. So at some point we are going to get into that speculative bubble phase, and we have about 20 different indicators that I show on here that will be flashing like crazy at that point. So please subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet, and continue to follow along. So we're going to be looking out for this move. One of the things I thought was interesting too is if we were to take, say, a measured move from if we take a move from, say, the time we held the 200-week moving average to the halving in the last cycle, it was 280 days. And if we take it, say, to when we held the 20-week moving average, it was 120 days. But just looking at the 200-week to the halving was 280 days. And then if we go to present day, you can see that it's a little bit different. In this situation, we are here to the halving is only about 63 days. So clearly we're pushing kind of the limit on how long we're in this accumulation phase, which also makes me believe that these cycles are lengthening, because if they weren't, I would think that the 200-week moving average holding support would be much further back, somewhere back over in this region, and then ultimately getting into gear and then going into the halving at a significantly higher price, and also holding the 20-week moving average. So then the last thing I wanted to show is just I wanted to show this presentation here where we look at the logarithmic regression line of non-bubble data, and just identify that basically, while it doesn't always work out this way, but basically this primary band seems to be corresponding to the 20-week moving average at present time. And if we can break above it, then we'll go into the top half of this more or less buy region. And if we are holding the 20-week as resistance and head back down to the 200-week, then we're going to stay in the lower half of this primary regression band. Either way, we're still basically in buy territory. So I just wanted to show everyone that graph to give you an update. And then for those who like seeing it on a log scale, so time is also on a log scale, this is what it looks like. So basically, we're still in this accumulation band from a macro level perspective. So again, if you guys like the content, please subscribe. If you're interested in some of the fundamental stuff that I was talking about earlier, again, I'll remind you to go to the video done by Altcoin Daily, Aaron and Austin, their brothers. Give them a thumbs up, subscribe to their channel, leave a comment letting them know that I sent you. I would really appreciate that. So that'll wrap it up for this video, guys. I will see you guys next time. Bye.